Number 10. Gerald R. Ford Class USA. The Gerald R. Ford Class aircraft carriers are some of the largest and most powerful warships ever made by the United States. These ships are about 1,106 feet long, 134 feet wide, and have a displacement weight of nearly 100,000 tons. This not only makes them the biggest vessels in the U.S. fleet, but also the largest in the entire world. Their flight decks measure 256 feet wide and 1,092 feet long, featuring 4 aircraft catapults and 4 advanced arresting gear systems. The aircraft launching systems are powered through electromagnetic energy, making them more advanced than the steam-powered launchers used on other ships. These state-of-the-art carriers have been designed to replace another giant of the seas, the Nimitz Class aircraft carriers that have been used by the U.S. military since 1975. These ships can carry up to 90 aircraft, including F-35C Lightning II Joint Strike Fighters, FA-18EF Super Hornets, EA-18G Growlers, MH-60RS helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles. The crew size for the vessels is approximately 4,500 sailors and officers, and the ships are powered with 2 nuclear reactors that can propel to speeds of over 30 knots. Building these ships is not exactly a small task. Starting construction in 2006, it took over 5,000 shipbuilders and suppliers from 46 states across the country to build the Ford aircraft carrier. It's amazing how many people it takes to create such a massive and complex ship. The first in the class, the USS Gerald R. Ford, was commissioned in July of 2017. The second ship, the future USS John F. Kennedy, is currently being built and should be finished sometime in 2024. The third ship, the future USS Enterprise, CVN-80, is also under construction with an unset launch date. Number 9. The Nimitz Class USA. The Nimitz class of aircraft carriers is a class of 10 nuclear-powered carriers currently in service with the United States Navy. The first of the class, the USS Nimitz, was officially commissioned in 1975, and the most recent, the USS George H.W. Bush, was built in 2009. The Nimitz class carriers are some of the largest warships in the world, with displacement loads of over 100,000 tons. They're about 1,092 feet long and have a beam of 252 feet. They're powered by 2 nuclear reactors that let them operate continuously for over 20 years without needing to refuel. The ships can travel at speeds of over 30 knots and have a range of over 300,000 nautical miles. The carriers are designed to support multiple aircraft, including fighter jets, helicopters, and early warning and surveillance planes. The ships are outfitted with advanced radar and electronic warfare systems, along with multiple missile defense systems. The Nimitz-class carriers have played a key role in the U.S. military operations around the world, including the Persian Gulf War, the Iraq War, and the war in Afghanistan. One of the largest deployments of the Nimitz-class carriers was the air campaign against Iraq, with ships like the USS Harry S. Truman and the USS George H.W. Bush participating in multiple deployments to the region. They are also frequently used for humanitarian and disaster relief efforts. Overall, the Nimitz-class carriers are crucial to U.S. naval power. Even though their replacement in the Gerald R. Ford class is starting to unfold, the Nimitz class is expected to stay in service for several more decades. Number 8. The Queen Elizabeth Class, UK. The Queen Elizabeth class of aircraft carriers currently has 2 carriers in service with the British Royal Navy. The lead ship of the class, the HMS Queen Elizabeth, was commissioned back in 2017 and was followed by the HMS Prince of Wales in 2019. These carriers are the largest warships ever built for the British Royal Navy, with a full load displacement of over 65,000 tons and a length of 932 feet. They're powered by 2 gas turbines as well as 4 diesel generators, which offer a maximum speed of 25 knots and a range of up to 10,000 nautical miles. The carriers are designed to hold up to 40 aircraft, including the F-35B Lightning II, a 5th-generation multi-role fighter aircraft that's capable of vertical takeoff and landing. The carriers also have a range of sophisticated defense systems, including long-range radar, missile systems, and electronic warfare capabilities. One of the more interesting features of the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carriers is their modular design, meaning that their internal layout can be reconfigured to support many different mission requirements. This makes them flexible and adaptable for a range of operations. Some of the missions that this carrier has been involved with include a war against ISIS in the Middle East and extensive joint training operations with the US Navy. The Queen Elizabeth class carriers are part of a broader effort by the UK to modernize its armed forces and increase its power projection capabilities. The ships are expected to play a major role in the UK military operations for decades, including supporting NATO missions and providing humanitarian aid in times of need. Number 7. Admiral Kuznetsov, Russia. The Admiral Kuznetsov class of aircraft carriers consists of 2 heavy aircraft carrying cruisers used by the Russian Navy. The lead ship of its class, the Admiral Kuznetsov, was commissioned back in 1991, and the second ship, the Varyag, was never finished in its home country. It eventually was sold to China in 1998, where it was completed and commissioned as the Liao Ning. These ships are significantly smaller than the Nimitz and Queen Elizabeth classes, with smaller load displacements. They're powered by steam turbines and have a max speed of 29 knots. The carriers are designed to carry up to 40 vehicles, including fixed-wing fighters, helicopters, and anti-submarine aircraft. The Admiral Kuznetsov class carriers have been the subject of heavy criticism, both in Russia and abroad, for their high operation costs, outdated technology, and maintenance issues. Admiral Kuznetsov, in particular, has been ridiculed after a number of accidents and operational issues, including a fire in 2019 that led to the death of 1 crew member and significant damage to the ship. Number 6. Liao Ning Type001, China. The Liao Ning is China's first aircraft carrier and was commissioned in September of 2012. It was originally the Soviet-era vessel, the Varyag, a Kuznetsov-class carrier that China bought from Ukraine in 1998. Acquiring the Liao Ning gave China valuable experience in carrier operations, as Chinese naval personnel had the ability to train and gain practical knowledge on the refurbished Soviet-era vessel. This experience has been used to develop China's own domestic carrier program, which ended in the commissioning of the Shandong, China's first domestically built aircraft carrier. The Liao Ning has a displacement of 55,000 tons and is about 990 feet long. It has a conventional propulsion system and can reach around 31 knots. The carrier can also carry 50 aircraft, including fighter jets, helicopters, and early warning aircraft. The Liao Ning has undergone extensive upgrades and modifications since it was purchased by China, including the installation of a ski jump ramp for launching aircraft and the addition of advanced radar, electronic warfare, and new missile systems. The Liao Ning has been involved in many exercises and training operations since it was commissioned, including joint exercises with other navies. It has also been involved in patrols and missions in the South China Sea and the Pacific. Have you ever been on an aircraft carrier yourself? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're down there. Number 5. Shandong Type002, China. China's first domestically built aircraft carrier, the Shandong, was built back in December 2019. It is the second aircraft carrier in China's fleet after the Liao Ning, a refurbished Soviet-era vessel. The Shandong is about 315 meters long, 1,033 feet, and it has a conventional propulsion system and can reach speeds of 31 knots. The carrier can carry up to 36 fighter jets and helicopters, including the J-15 fighter jet, which is a variant of the original Russian Su-33. The Shandong also features an advanced combat system that includes radar, electronic warfare, and even missile systems. It has a ski jump ramp for launching its aircraft and 3 elevators for moving vehicles between the hangar and the flight deck. It's been involved in multiple exercises and training operations in the South China Sea and the Western Pacific. In December of 2020, the Shandong carried out a series of live fire drills in the South China Sea, which included the launch of anti-ship missiles and the deployment of fighter jets. The Shandong has also played a role in joint exercises with other navies like the Russian Navy and has made port calls to countries including Cambodia, Thailand, and Brunei. Number 4. Fujian Type003, China. Fujian is the newest aircraft carrier built by the Chinese Navy. The Type003 vessel was first laid down in the water during 2016 and was launched in July of 2022. It's the second Chinese-built aircraft carrier in the PLAN, or People's Liberation Army Navy, after the Type002 Shandong, which was modeled after the Type001 Liao Ning, which we mentioned previously. Compared to the other two, the Fujian has much sleeker design, featuring a more streamlined and neater launch deck, yet still displacing 80,000 tons. Operating under conventional power, other factors about the ship are still unknown, although it's rumored that, like the US Navy's new Gerald R. Ford-class carriers, the Fujian will leverage electromagnetic launching systems instead of steam-powered technology. As evidence of this, the Type 003 doesn't have a bow ramp and represents the Chinese Navy's transition towards catapult-assisted takeoff, but arrested recovery or CATOBAR operations. Although the recovery process has stayed unchanged, CATOBAR carriers use catapults to launch fixed-wing aircraft, which enables them to carry heavier fuel and weapons loads during takeoff process. CATOBAR ships have the capability to accommodate a greater variety of aircraft, including larger and slower non-fighter models like the KJ-600 carrier radar plane. As to how the Fujian will be used, it is likely that it will become a focal point of the People's Liberation Army Navy and will be accompanied by a strike group. This combination will be utilized to assert Chinese dominance overseas. In addition to expanding Beijing's ability to carry out military operations beyond its borders, the carrier is expected to serve as a significant symbol of China's naval strength. Number 3. The INS Vikramaditya, India. The INS Vikramaditya is an aircraft carrier serving in the Indian Navy. It is the largest warship operated by India and one of the few operational aircraft carriers in the entire region. The INS Vikramaditya was originally built as the Soviet Navy's Admiral Gorshkov-class aircraft carrier back in the 1980s. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the ship was decommissioned and put up for sale. In 2004, India bought the vessel from Russia and started a massive overhaul and modernization program which lasted over a decade. The INS Vikramaditya is about 931 feet long. It has a mixed propulsion system that includes gas turbine and diesel generators, allowing it to reach speeds around 30 knots. The carrier can hold up to 30 fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters, including the MiG-29K fighter jet. The INS Vikramaditya is equipped with modern radar and electronic warfare systems and features a ramp for launching aircraft. It also has advanced landing aids for recovering aircraft. Since 2013, the INS Vikramaditya has been involved in various exercises and operations, including exercises with the US Navy and patrols in the Indian Ocean region. It is considered a key component of India's maritime security and power projection in the region. Number 2. The Charles de Gaulle, France. The Charles de Gaulle is a class of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers utilized by the French Navy. Currently, there is only one active ship in its class, the Charles de Gaulle, which was commissioned in 2001. The Charles de Gaulle has a displacement of 42,000 tons and is about 856 feet long. It has nuclear propulsion systems and can reach around 27 knots. The carrier can carry 40 fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters, including the Rafale fighter jet and the E-2C Hawkeye early warning aircraft. The ship is equipped with advanced radar and electronic warfare systems, and it even features a catapult-assisted takeoff system for launching planes. It also has an arrestor wire system for recovering aircraft and a large hangar deck for storing aircraft and other vehicles. The Charles de Gaulle has been involved in various operations and missions since it was first commissioned, including support for NATO operations in Afghanistan and the fight against ISIS over in the Middle East. It also has participated in joint exercises with the US Navy and the Indian Navy. The Charles de Gaulle is considered a key component of France's extensive military capabilities, particularly in its power projection. It is also one of the few operational nuclear-powered carriers in the world, which gives it a unique advantage in terms of endurance and rangeability. And at number 1, the INS Vikrant India. The INS Vikrant is an upcoming aircraft carrier being constructed for the Indian Navy. It will be the first carrier built domestically in India and represents a significant step forward for India's Navy. The INS Vikrant will be about 859 feet long, and the ship will be powered by a gas turbine propulsion system. It's expected to have a top speed of around 28 knots. The carrier is designed to carry over 30 fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters, including the Tejas fighter jet and the Ka-31 early warning helicopter. The INS Vikrant is being built with high-tech, modern technology and is equipped with advanced radar, electronic warfare, and communication systems. The carrier is expected to be fully integrated into the Indian Navy sometime during 2023, and will significantly enhance India's power projection capabilities in the region. The Vikrant will be the second aircraft carrier used by the Indian Navy after the INS Vikramaditya, and will help to maintain India's presence and influence in the Indian Ocean. It is also expected to play a key role in India's maritime security and international disaster relief efforts. Thanks for watching. Which one of these aircraft carriers interested you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating videos. We'll see you next time.